Felicia
From the
Michaels,
moment
my
you hear his
princess,
voice, you
has
know
been entertaining
there are gonna be
audiences
problems.
with a unique
Joey
style
Coco Diaz has
of
been rocking
provocative humor
comedy
since the
stages for
90s, all right?
15 years.
With her
You've
tongue
seen
in
him in
cheek,
films and
she's been
television,
exploring
but
such
his real
topics as the
patois,
dynamics
as
of the
he's fond of saying,
male-female
are the
relationships,
stories from
or
his
as we
past
call them here in
and
the
his
studio,
chaotic
dirty
views on
thoughts,
life that will make
and
this
the
podcast
proliferation
a different
of the
beat.
sensual
Raw
feminist.
pain and
She's a little
passion is how to
firecracker
really
rolled up, and that's why I
describe
love
this
her, and that's why you're going to
Cuban-born
love
New
listening. So
Jersey
tune in, all right?
animal.
Greetings, podcasters. You're here for another fun-filled episode of Beauty and
The Beast.
with my girl, Felicia Michaels.
And my main man, Joey Diaz.
Jesus, I'm Felicia Michaels' main fucking man. You know how strong that is? How are you today, my little princess?
Good now that you're wearing that tight David Beckham shirt, your
you stop?
Herbalife shirt, the LA Galaxy shirt.
Come on now. I was going to go see him this
touch your
afternoon.
nipples. Touch your nipples now.
Oh, shit.
And he did. I like that.
You know, I don't know if you guys, we told you that we, when we started the podcast, we sat down and we had a couple talks and we talked about where we wanted this podcast directions to go.
Right.
And we had spoken to a couple sponsors before we did the podcast, and they were like holding us down or whatever. So we wanted to do our own thing. And one thing we were like, well, whatever sponsors we pick up, we want them to be, you know, like Weight Watchers or somebody who's respectable. Well, we finally maybe got our first sponsor, the first people who came in to look at us, and it's Adam and Eve Sex Toys.
Yes.
Now, why would Adam and Eve Sex Toys want to be involved with us?
Probably because I talk a lot about sucking dick.
Okay.
And I can maybe see that connection. And you're a fine piece of meat.
Oh my
I
God.
can certainly see that connection.
Oh my God.
But other than that, no clue. No clue at all.
And it's great. I went to the webpage, and they have like
Yeah.
little things you put up your ass, and you play the bongos at the same time. You know, because there's people that want that effect all day long. So they have like butt plugs with a computer in your pocket. You know, so when you're sitting there online, you can press the button, and your asshole could swell or whatever it does to you.
Well, I don't mean to always bring it back to me, but you know how I do. But my activity partner, we had went drinking, and then we were, you know, doing activities, and I woke up. I kind of like lost my mind for a little while, and then I woke up, and something was going on, and he had a remote in his hand, and I was all like, I'm glad this is dark. Everything feels wonderful, but what the fuck is in his hand? You know what I mean?
And what was it?
It was a thing, and I was
What
all
kind
like,
of thing, Felicia? Stop stuttering over here, mumbling and stumbling and shit. You know what I'm saying?
it
What
was
thing?
like some kind of vibrator thing, and I was all like, because I'm not a big vibrator girl. I've never used a vibrator, but it was like one of those little ones, and you know, and it's, you know, it's like a vagina suppository, I guess. I don't know, Joey.
Did you like it?
But it was tremendously pleasant.
Okay. Well,
There you go.
So if you
Yeah.
guys want to get a little, you got your little sex tip for the week. Last week it was lick, 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 lick. And this week is get your a little pocket-sized vibrator and work that little noodle with it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm an adventurous soul, and I was with a gentleman who used to like to tie me up a little bit, but he always wanted just to tie my right foot to the bed. And I just thought, you know, why don't you just fucking handcuff me? Not my right foot. Like, we'd be having sex, and my right foot, you know, it'd be like, get this fucking thing off me. I need my right foot to fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I need it.
She needs her right foot to
I need my right
fuck.
foot to fuck.
That's his thing. Why wouldn't he just? I never understood the whole tying up on the bed. I didn't know what it was. I mean, trust me, I've tied up like two broads, but I did it just because.
Well, my activity partner, because that's the only title I have for him right now. My activity partner, he was like, I'm going to go, and he texted me, I'm going to go to Osh and get rope. And I was like, all right, do what you got to do. So then he gets the rope, and he ties it in a knot, right? And it looks all pretty, and he puts it on his bed, and he takes a picture of it, and he sends it me the picture. And I just thought it was the fun. By the way, that should be in an edition of when you want to get into someone's box, you got to think out the box, outside the box, because it was the cutest thing ever. And then it made me laugh, like if you know LA at all, that a guy on the west side would be buying fucking rope at Osh hardware store. If there's any white guy buying rope at a fucking hardware store on the west side of LA, someone's getting laid or someone's getting murdered.
Yeah, you're right.
There ain't no hard work going on.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. That's fucking. Yeah, I was never into tying people up, putting butt plugs in people's asses.
I'm not. No, I don't like butt plugs.
No, I don't know none of that shit. Or like masks on and put a ball in your mouth. What the fuck is all that shit about? Like I told you when I was a kid.
Well, the mask thing is kind of okay.
The mask thing?
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to fuck
like just like where you cover a mask to cover your eyes, not.
Yeah,
like...
but you still know who's fucking you. Oh, so you want somebody to blindfold you?
Well, I think that's kind of erotic.
Oh my god!
Just let go of my right foot.
Oh my
I need
god!
my right foot to fuck.
So you blindfold somebody, but they still know you're fucking you. It's not like it's a Halloween trick. It's not like I'm gonna blindfold you.
This is where
I'm gonna do a Pepsi challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have 3 dicks inside of you, and you gotta decide which one is Pepsi. That's fucked up right there. I would hate to do that. I would never even I'm too uptight to let somebody blindfold me because I think that they're going to do something to me, like stab me and shit.
Shake you down for that money you owe.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
That $104 for that $75 you lent out.
Fuck that shit. We're coming right back with Beauty and the Beast.
Podcast@gmail.com.
And what's your name, sexy animal?
My name is Felicia Michaels.
Oh, shit. Joey Diaz will be right back.
We'll be back. Will you please untie my right foot now?
Yes. So somebody emailed me and said they want to know the first time I burglarized a home. Was it out of necessity? Was it out of desperation? Was it out of addiction? The first time I burglarized a house, I was like in the 8th grade, but it wasn't a burglary. Some people were moving across the street from my house.
Already smells like burglary,
okay,
my friend.
You be the judge. Some people were moving across the street from my house, and they left the door open. And we used to walk through the woods through their yard. And one day we seen that their screen door was open. There's all this shit in the living room. So like 4 of us went in there, and I took the stereo, and somebody else took like a poster. But it just so happened that the kid that moved into that house was real cool. And I had his fucking stereo in my room with 4 speakers. I had the 8-track, the cassette, the fucking, So every time I'd have parties, I couldn't invite the kid over. He's like, "You having a party?" Or if you come over to my house, I couldn't bring him to my room. Like and people would say, "Why can't I go to your room?" It's dirty. But it was because I had the kid's fucking stereo in my room. How embarrassing is that? Then he moved right away. They didn't own the house. They rented it. But that's the first time I burglarized the home, and it wasn't out of necessity. It was out of being a stupid kid.
Yeah. Did you feel guilty afterwards?
Not at all, because you don't know what you did when you're 12. You think that somebody left something out. You don't know that shit until something gets robbed from you.
Joey, I'm sorry, but I might have to call bullshit on you, because if you robbed that and then you didn't invite the guy over into your parties or into your bedroom, you knew it wasn't right.
Oh, I knew it wasn't fucking right. That's why I didn't invite him in my bedroom.
But didn't it sweat you like, I'll never do this again because this is bullshit?
I never did it again after that. We were kids. We did it as a kid thing. It wasn't like a burglary to get money. It was a fucking kid thing.
Right.
You ever see people, kids are walking past the house, it's up for rent, they go in, and the shower's working, they take a shower and they fuck up the house. We didn't want to fuck up the house. We just wanted to go in there and see what was going on. After I realized what I had done, it bothered me.
But do you think that's normal? Do you think
no,
that's
it's
normal?
not. Fuck. Well,
like they should have like a test, like of young teenage boys walking by a house with a rental sign kind of taken down and the door is open. What would the percentage of boys be that would go in there?
Because kids don't act like that today. They don't have the balls. No, there's nobody on the streets no more.
Yeah, that's true.
After you walk past the house 10
That's
times,
true.
you're like, we could sit in there and drink. Whatever. Hey, listen, when kids are 8 or 9, they shoot fucking BBs at cats and dogs. You can't hold that against them. They're going to grow up years later. They're going to feel fucking horrible. As we got older, we got into comic books and shit. And we used to walk past this guy that had a van. And one night, we're looking in the fucking van. We opened the van, it's open. And he had all comic books in there. And remember in the 70s, they had those stickers, and you had to heat them with the machine. And they would stick onto your shirt, like "Have a nice J," and there'd be a joint. But you had to pick the green shirt, and then there was a name for that.
Yeah.
He had one of the machines in the truck, and we took all that stuff, and that was a thievery move because we sold it to get bikes or whatever the fuck we did at that age.
How much did you get for it?
We probably got like maybe $400 for the whole thing, and we
Shut
chopped it up.
up,
Yeah,
really?
well, we chopped it up between 6 kids that were hanging out. Me, Carlos Perez.
So how did you know where to take the loot?
We had a kid in that. His name was.
What are those guys called when you middleman?
Fences and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, we had a kid that I forget what Anthony De Palma or something like that on 43rd Street. He had a big comic book thing. This kid was a nerd with comic books, and we'd rob him. We'd ask him for Silver Surfer, and then take Silver Surfer 2 and put it in our book bags. And then we'd take it into the city and drop it off at different places. But then I didn't rob anything again for years. Like, I didn't think that was just kid stuff. And then we took motorcycles from the trains when we were kids, brand new bikes. But again, when you're a kid, you don't think nobody's suffering. you're like, who's suffering over this? You know, nobody's suffering. We got a motorcycle. As you get older, and then one day somebody steals your fucking bicycle. Tomorrow is, what's 2010?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is 28 days from the biggest heist I ever did in my life. Like, Mike, if you go back to my hometown and go Coco Diaz, they'll say Michael's Jewelers.
Tell us.
When I was in high school, I used to go to this jewelry store on Burglaries Avenue. It was called Michael's Jewelers. And they had...
You can't get in trouble for sharing these stories.
No, it's 28 years later. The
Okay.
statute of limitations
Okay,
gone. They
okay.
collected the insurance money. They were one of the only jewelry stores that didn't have a buzzer at the door. You just opened the door and went in. Michael's
Right.
Jewelers. And they had 3 old ladies that worked there. And it was weird. When you ask them for something, like, I want to see that ring, they give you the whole tray of rings and turn their back on you. And they'd have doubles in the ring. So I would take one ring and put it in my sweat sock and give it to my little high school sweetheart. So every week I go to Michael's Jewelers because we always went to Burger Line on Saturdays. We go to Levy's,
Right.
the sporting goods, and we get books and karate stuff. And let's go to Michael's. I got to pick up a fucking ring for Mama. And I go in there, get a ring, boom, clip a ring. They had cameras in there and everything. Every week I clip a ring, clip a ring, clip a ring. This started like in 1980.
Right.
Now it's June of '82. We're eating Cuban food, me and 3 other gorillas. By that time, I'm hanging out with junior gangsters and all this shit. And I go, let's go to Michael's. I had a football shirt on, like a big bulky shirt. We had just graduated high school. I go, let's go to Michael's. And I go to Michael's, and the lady again leaves 30 engagement rings. Big fucking rock engagement rings on this thing. And I know it was 30 because I picked the thing up and put it under my shirt and walked out of the thing with it. And then we went to my buddy's house, who was a fence, and I got like $600 per ring. He robbed us because all those diamonds were at least fucking $2-3 grand now in hindsight. But when they give you $600 times 30, and you're 18 and you got 10 buddies with you, and we're gonna go do coke. So that was the first time I robbed them. But when I robbed them that time for the big loot, I realized that they had a thing that was like 3 feet tall, and it was a case, and it was on top of the counter, and it had gold chains on the top and bracelets on the bottom, and there was just a little string connected to it, and it was for the plug and the light, so they could plug it in, the thing would spin around.
Okay, yeah.
So all summer long, that was, if we ever get in trouble, we know we got the fucking big chain jewelry from Michael's. We know it. So sure enough, I go to college for a semester. This is my first. I go to Glassboro State, and after 3 weeks on board in Philadelphia, which Philly was crazy at that time, I come back up north, and my buddy says, "Hey, bro, stay till Tuesday. You know, stay till Wednesday or something." I didn't have classes till Tuesday or something. I was working on a roof or something. And he goes, you know, let's put some bets in on Monday night. So we all pooled together, all these kids, 6 kids I hung out with. We put like $10,000 on Pittsburgh on a Monday night. And we put it in with my high school football coach. He was a bookie part-time. So he was the running back coach, George McGrath. He used to smoke Camel cigarettes. So we used to call him Camel Breath. He had a mustache that drooped over his lips, and it was orange. And he had fingers that were orange. So,
oh no.
Oh yeah, but he was great. Camel Breath was great. George McGrath, I don't want your George McGrath. That was his name. So we put the bet in with him, and we lost. I love George. It's like me going to Felicia. Felicia, I'm in a bind. I need $3,000 to give it to you Friday. I know you have kids. You give it to me. I got to get it back to you. This is my friend. Even at that age, I knew this guy was going to fucking get killed over this $10,000. What were we going to do? So I had a friend, Stinky. His name was Glenn Conte. He's a big shot at UPS now. So me and Stinky were partners and everything. If we sold drugs, we were always partners. I'd go to get coke, and I'd give him ups, and we were partners on it. So I'd sell coke, and he'd sell ups. Anyway, we planned it out. We were going to go and pick this fucking thing up and run out of there with it.
At the jewelry store.
At the jewelry store. That was our plan.
Display case.
That was our plan. I went to my attorney buddy. I asked him what happened if we got caught. It was going to be grand larceny because there was a ton. He went down there and looked at it. He's like, Joey, there's a ton of fucking jewelry in there. You're going to go to jail for a long fucking time.
Oh, the attorney went down and looked
at it. My attorney. He was a friend of mine that was an attorney, a little older. Oh, yeah, I had an attorney because you got to ask them. That's what real people do. Hey, if I'm going to move drugs, what's the easiest way? And they'll tell you. So you're in the thing. So he goes, if you take it, it's going to be grand larceny. It's 25 fucking years. You know, think about it. And I said, fuck it, they're not going to catch us. There was a lot next to it that was abandoned. So our plan was, Stinky was going to hold the door. I was going to go in, pick up the thing, run out with it. He was going to jump the fence. I was going to throw it over the fence to Stinky. He was going to run up the hill with it. And then I was going to meet him on top of the hill, and he was going to throw it over the fence to me. We were going to get over. And we had our buddy driving, Marblehead, Timmy Holloway, right? And Marblehead, because he got hit in the head with a bottle one time and nothing happened to him. So we called him Marblehead. So it's on. We're doing it on Thursday morning at fucking 9:30 when it opens. We get down. I still remember the sun, how powerful it was. It was the fall. It was September 25th. And sure enough, it was like clockwork. There's two old ladies working. Stinky opens the door. I run in. I ask her to pick up jewelry. She says, let me go in the back and check. I pick up the gold thing, run out. Stinky jumps the fence. I throw it over, give it to Stinky. When I run to the top, I come over. There's Stinky, jumped the fence with like 3 gold chains. And he goes, the thing fell and it broke. I go, are you fucking serious? And I got to jump the fence. I pick everything up. I could see the ladies on the bottom going, come back. We call the police. And I could hear the sirens.
Oh,
so I go,
my
Stinky,
God.
get over the fucking fence. He jumps over the fence. I start throwing jewelry to him. Bracelets, jewelry. I mean, this is going on. Half the case, I put all the jewelry in the plastic case. Half of it was broken. And I climbed over the fence with it. We got in the fucking car. And I put it, and we couldn't pop the trunk open. We couldn't pop the trunk. I'm like, fucking pop the trunk open. Pop the trunk open. The trunk wouldn't pop. So sure enough, I get into the back seat, sneaking against the passenger seat. I throw all the jewelry down. You couldn't even see my feet in the back seat. That's how much gold. It was up to my knees. It was like one of those Herman Munster treasures that he finds with gold and coins and shit. We're back there going, holy shit. All of a sudden, we pull out of there. We make a right. And at the first light, cops are coming towards us with lights, 2 cop cars. And we're like, we're dead. Stay right here, Timmy. Don't move. And the cop cars went right. The cops stopped at the light because we were opposite them.
Right.
They're trying to get around the people. And as the cops are getting around us, our trunk goes boop and opens up all of a sudden. And I remember that the cop made like a mental note. He looked at the fucking trunk and kept going. I go, we got to go. This guy's going to turn around. So we went back to we had like a little stash pad where we would meet, and we divvied it up. And then I sold jewelry. Like we had these parties at people's house. Like we'd get black velvet, and we'd go to people's houses as mobsters, and we'd be there strapped with gold on, like Mr. T selling bracelets to people's mothers. We were taking the gold to our friends' mothers' houses. And they're like, where'd you get this? Oh, we found it. And the bracelets still had the tags on them. So let's say a tag was $900. We'd sell it. We'd split it in half and take another $100 off. So by the end of the week, we had like 20 fucking large, and we still had all the jewelry left. So what happened was they did have a camera. And one day, I go to a bar, and I'm drinking, and this principal comes in, Ray Dalton, who was cool as shit, and he comes up, and he goes, Doug, can I talk to you in the back? He goes, cops came looking for you at the high school the other day. They came looking for you as Coco. They got your picture. He goes, I tried to tell them Coco Dempsey, Coco Espinoza, but no, they knew it was Coco Diaz. They're coming to arrest you, blah, blah, blah. That's all I needed to do. I took the rest of the gold, sold it, we got it melted, and I took my money and went on a lam at Sarasota, Florida, where boredom was invented. You know what I'm saying? That in Delaware is like the most boring spot in the fucking world. And I sat there for a month, and I missed my friends. Sarasota, I was down there with this kid, Gary Hartman from North Bergen. His parents worked for NASA. So I was down there hiding with him, and it was just boring. All he did was lift weights. And I went to see the Road Warrior 18 times in a month. And so I went back home, and I was scared they were going to arrest me. And I bumped into this kid, Mike Denny, who we used to call the devil as a kid because he looked just like the devil. He was short, and he had a big head. And he goes, can I talk to you for a second? I go, what? He goes, bro, the cops aren't going to arrest you. I go, come on. You don't have to. He goes, I don't have to, because I was going to leave like a week later. And he goes, you don't have to leave. The cops aren't going to arrest you. He goes, my daughter dates that guy. My sister dates him.
Right.
And this is what happened. When the cops were looking for you, if they arrest you and they press charges, then you have to repay the people. You have to pay them back. What are you going to pay them? $5 a week? Well, if they don't arrest you, they get insurance.
Oh.
So he contacted the cops and said, don't arrest him, because he was a dirty guy, Michael.
Yeah.
He was like a half a gangster. And the cops never arrested me, and he got the insurance money. And then that was 82, and in 85, I was at a gas station, fucked up. I walk out of this gas station. It's the holidays. Like it was 84, and I'm walking out of this gas station. This guy goes, psst, and I look, and I go, excuse me. And he goes, Michael's Jewelers, good to see you, Mr. Diaz. And he kept walking, and that was it. That's my Michael's Jewelers story. So tomorrow is 28 fucking years to the day.
I was never one of those people that could get away with shit. You know, like I have this friend when we were strippers together, and she could take money from men hand over fist, and she would scam them, and she would trick them, and I could never do it. And then one time when I had stopped doing stripping, I was doing comedy, and I got on Star Search, and I was going to the semifinals, and I was kind of dating this guy who was really wealthy. And when I went to the semifinals, I was like, this is like, when you're in your 20s, when you're a young woman, I really need an awesome dress. If I have an awesome dress, I will be voted funniest female, right? Like, that's how you get when you're a woman, right?
Yeah.
Like, I won't have a good day unless I have that great dress. So I went to this place called North Beach Leather. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but it's like a leather store that sells jackets, real cheesy, like late 80s, early 90s, like leather fringed, that whole
Dice clay type stuff.
Yeah, like that, right? So I bought this dress, and it was like, $1,000, and I mean, I was pretty broke at that time, but I was like, I need that fucking, so I get the dress, and then I win the semifinals, and I'm going to the finals, and I was convinced it's that fucking dress. That dress was good luck, and I need a new dress because I can't wear the same dress, right? So then when they did the finals, it was around my birthday. So I went and I saw the dress I wanted. Oh my God, Joey. It was like a leather, like tight fucking mini skirt, but it was gold. I mean, it was sparkly and had like a bolero jacket, and it was all like bedazzled with all the signs of the celestial, like Scorpios and Cancers and Tauruses. And I was like, that's the dress. That's the dress I need to wear at Star Search. But it was $2,500. And so I went to Chicago with this guy I was dating who was quite wealthy, and I was like, fuck it. This is the first time where I'm going to be like, fuck this. I'm going to work my magic, right? So I talked to the guy, and we went shopping, and just so happens, there was a mall where it had North Beach Leather, and there was the dress, and I was like, geez, because he knew I was going to be up for the finals in Star Search. Wow, I would really feel so confident if I could have this dress. And then I was like, you know what? If you bought the dress for me, I'll pay you back. And I was totally like doing that, right?
Right.
So, but I'll pay you back. And he's like, well, all right, I'll buy you the dress. So he buys me the dress. And then the next day was my birthday. And of course, on my birthday, he's like, don't you worry about that dress, little missy. Just consider it a gift, right? So then a week goes by. I come back home. I'm like, fuck that dude, right? And then I go and Star Search with that fucking awesome dress, and I win. And now I got 100 large in my pocket, and I'm all like, fuck, I can't believe this. And then he's like, he calls me up because he's pissed that I kind of dumped him, and he's like, okay, I want the $2,500 for that dress. And I was like, hey, you said it was a gift, so me, right? Never did anything like this my entire life, but I was like, fuck it. And then you know what? He took me to court. He took me to motherfucking court. And he took me to court about 4 months later. I get court papers, and the court papers are like, about the dress, $2,500, and I have to spill the beans. I had just moved in with a guy I was going to marry, and like, how do I bring that up? Like, wow, we're really in love, but listen, what's the craziest thing you ever did? Oh, I don't know. Once I fucked a chick in a cemetery. Really? Because I fleeced this guy for $2,500 and I got to go to court next week. You know what I mean? Like, it was terrible, right? So I didn't know what to do. So then I tell my entertainment lawyer, and my entertainment lawyer, those guys just do contracts, right? So he's like, oh my God, I've never been to court. Let me defend you for free so I can say I went to court, right? And I was like, are you fucking serious? And he's like, yeah. So we get to the court, and this is where I felt really terrible. Because it was over $2,500, it wasn't just small claims court or something. It was like a regular courtroom.
Court, yeah.
And I'm sitting there waiting for my case to come up. And, of course, I dressed real dowdy with my glasses, no makeup. And there was a case going on before us, and the case was about a girl. I'll never forget this. The case was about a girl who lived in an apartment building, and the apartment building didn't have enough security on it, and she got raped and almost died. And so they were suing the owners of the apartment building. And I remember sitting there like, you know what? This is my lesson, because I should have never fucking did that. I knew it was wrong. I was trying to be like my girlfriend and trying to be all like that chick. And now this is God saying, you shouldn't fuck around with this, because, this is meant for people that have serious problems and need to deal legally with their serious problems. And I was really embarrassed. And then they call up my case. And And the guy was just so angry that I had broken up with him, and I'm on the stand, and his lawyer is this woman lawyer that he flew in from Chicago because he was wealthy, and he was really pissed at me. And by the way, my lawyer was the worst attorney. It was like I could have got someone, from a high school law class or some shit.
You could have done better on your own.
I know, right? So the woman is like, and isn't it true that you were a stripper? And isn't it true that you posed naked in Playboy? And isn't it true that, and I'm a terrible actress, and I was like, that is just, I might have posed in Playboy, but that's so not true. And I actually tears came up, and I was so convincing, which has never happened since then. The judge, he leans over and he pat my arm, like, there, young girl, don't you worry about it. And then the guy stood up like, this is an abomination. And then he looked crazy, and then he lost the case. But I was very embarrassed about doing that because I knew it was wrong.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I know fucking guys, and I've heard of guys that are just retarded, okay? And I hung out with a guy, JR, that would just stop a girl on the street and take a shot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a bunch of jerk-offs like that. And this guy in Chicago either was a fucking jerk-off because some guys would just write it off. If you're cool and wealthy, what do you care? So I gave some girl a dress for $2,500. I fucked her. That's it. We move on.
Right.
That's it.
No, he was kind of a jerk, but the whole thing was I wasn't being sweet.
No. I understand where you're coming from too, but don't beat yourself up. There's guys he just pissed because the pussy was good. Beauty and the Beast podcast
at gmail.com. Please email us.
If you have any burglary stories, or if you're a female and you beat a guy, fucking email us, all right? If you beat some fucking Momo that had a coming to him, that's at a bar on a Friday, I got money, I can do this. And then you take 100 from him, he's crying. But while he was at the strip club, he was a big shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I do this. My boat, and I'm doing a meeting.
By the way, those strip clubs in Colorado, the strippers at that time, they were hardcore.
Bro.
I mean, one girl got in trouble because I guess some guy fingered her in the club, and then he put a finger in when it came out, and his ring was gone. Or you know what I mean? Those were some biker chicks. Those were
with the banditos.
Yeah.
Let's take a breather.
Right.
We'll be right back. Anyway, this last week, Felicia, you were in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
And we've been trying to go back and forth whether or not we're going to put guests on here and the type of guests we want. We don't want comics. We don't want we want people that have the same stories as us, underdogs. Me and Felicia.
Because we don't want this to be a regular comedy podcast where you were saying last week we don't want to have arguments about who stole what joke in 1988.
I don't want to force the funny. I don't want to force the funny and make it. We want to tell stories, and sometimes the stories are funny, and sometimes they're not. But it's us talking from the heart. It's not us faking it.
Right.
And my personality, I like people. I always goof on you because I always tell you, John Gotti, when he was making $12 million, he still drank Rango beer. And he always used to say, I'm a fan of the fucking underdog. When you're an underdog in life, you're always a fan of an underdog. And when you meet somebody who's an underdog story, your fucking dick gets hard. You're like, really? This happened to you? Oh, my God, tell me more about it. And you had the opportunity to meet this young man. Tell him about it.
Last week I worked with this young man, and he's an opening act. And as we were talking Friday night between shows, it turned out that he had a very interesting story. And so I was all like, would you mind if I could interview you? And so I did, and I would like to play that for the audience. It was very inspiring.
So check it out, take a listen, and we'll be back afterward. Beauty and the Beast podcast, coming at you from all different angles.
Here you go. I'm sitting here with Ricardo Flanagan, and I'm at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, and I was talking to Ricardo yesterday, and Ricardo is the opening act. Do you MC most places, or do you middle, or?
I've middled twice, but I mostly MC at this point, yeah.
So as we were talking yesterday, you had shared with me that you had some health problems.
Definitely.
And how old are you, Ricardo?
I just turned 30 earlier
30.
this year, yeah.
So when you were 28?
I was 26, actually. I was 26, and it was the middle of the summer, and I had a mild stroke. I guess it was happening over a course of days because I was having a pain in my left side, that I didn't know was a stroke. I thought it was just regular pain, and sometimes as a man, you just don't think about little pain. You just like, oh, that's just a little ache. It'll go away. But it didn't go away. It just kept going and getting stronger and stronger till finally I couldn't take it anymore. And I went to the emergency room, and next thing I know, I'm laid up in the bed with a bunch of tubes. And I had a real poor diet. My work schedule was real crazy. Like I worked at night because I worked at a restaurant. And so, you know, free food plus eating late at night, going to sleep, and just not exercising, not doing anything constructive really, and compounded with the stress that I was going through.
Now, when you found yourself in the hospital, like, what was going through your mind? Were you like, I can beat this, and when I get out, I'm going to, you know, did it change you at all? Like, did it?
The only thing, like, when I was in the hospital, I felt okay. Like, I knew, I was like, well, I was fortunate, you know, which is mainly the whole theme of the whole time I was in there. I was in there for about 2 weeks. And like
that's a long time to be in a hospital nowadays.
Yeah, it was. It was like, I mean, it felt like forever too. Like, you know, but like the main thing was, you're lucky. You're lucky. Don't let this happen again. Take some steps to go the other way.
Now, was that you telling yourself that, or was that other people telling you that?
The doctors were telling me that. Like, the doctors, everybody, like my family that came to see me, everybody, you're lucky. You're lucky to be alive. I was like, wow, what am I doing wrong in my life where I let myself go to this point, you know? So it was a moment like that. It opened up a whole lot of doors for me just in my life. Like, it took me in a whole different direction. It's like, I think it was kind of disappointing to myself as well that it took that to make me really, like, you know, move forward my life.
And I know this sounds weird, but like when that happened to you, what was the biggest gift that you got from it?
I think the fact that I survived it was the biggest gift, and then the fact that when my dad heard about it, which I had, I don't know, I don't remember who told him, but he called me one day just out of the blue, and he asked me, he said, well, you know, I know you've had some ups and downs, and you know, I would like to offer you to come out here and live with me. I just got stationed in Michigan because he's a Coast Guard. And, you know, if you want to come out here, you just can't work. You have to go to school full time. That was his criteria if I accepted. And it took me a while to really, like, accept it. So, you know, finally I came to terms with the fact that maybe this was the move that I needed to make. So I did it. I moved out there with him, and it was a great experience. Like, that was the main gift, I think, too. Like, beyond all the things for me, it brought me closer to my father. You know, we had time to grow together. You know, we lived as a family unit, you know, which was, we ate together every day. We talked, you know, we argued, you know, just like any other family. We was at each other's throats the majority of the time. It was a real family situation, because when you live with your family, it's not all hunky-dory.
Right.
And, you know, if you live with your family, you will be at each other's throats. That's just part of it. And I got to experience that, you know. Now I can call my friends up and say, man, my dad is tripping, you know. And I never had that experience before, you know. So it was like, it was a good experience. It was great. It was, man, those probably were 2 of the best years of my life, I think.
That's a pretty amazing story that big of a health crisis at the age of 26 brought your father and you together, which probably would have never happened if it wasn't for that.
Never happened. And I was already an adult. I had my own place, you know, job, and I don't see a scenario where we would have lived together. You know, I just don't see it. Like, I always went to go visit him. I always saw him when he came home. You know, we talked a lot, but never lived with each other on a day-to-day basis. You know, so that was crazy. Like, you know.
Did that experience now, when you're having a bad day or when something kind of goes wrong, do you think having gone through something so tremendous when you were at the age of 26, that when bumps happen to you now, that you can kind of see clearly through it? Like,
it doesn't scare me. Nothing is like, it makes me fearless at this point in time. My dad grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, like I did. Grew up in the Cleveland streets. Grew up in the hard streets too. My dad is a street dude combined with a military guy, so that just makes for a real hard combination right there. You know, So one day, my
He's
dad,
an organized street dude.
right? Exactly, like just a straight gangster, like but with with structure.
A type A gangster.
Right, exactly.
That's the worst kind.
Yeah, exactly, the most dangerous kind actually. But like he was also his father wasn't there for him, so he was just hardcore, just to the T. Like one day, I think I forgot to leave something out, okay? And this guy calls me up and was cursing me out, calling me all kind of motherfuckers. He's like, motherfucker, I told you to do this, and motherfucker. And I'm like, hey man, why are you cussing at me like I'm some kind of hoe on the street? Then he got quiet. Bro, you need to accept when I call you a motherfucker, especially if I'm calling you a motherfucker with love. And I'm just looking at him like, are you for real? He's like, yeah, bro, I'm serious. I can call you a motherfucker, a bitch, a punk, but I do it with love. Because I swore it was times when I was about to leave my dad's house, like numerous times, like getting into it with him, because my dad is a real hard-nosed dude, he a good guy, real good-hearted guy. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to paint like a bad picture of him.
Right, but
he's just a military guy. Military guys, they don't play. They have a certain regimen. They stick to it. And if you don't live that, like he had a thought in his mind where his whole mission was to get me together, and he was gonna get everything that he didn't get in some 20-odd years in those 2 years. So I'm going through 20-some years of training in 2 years with him, So
wow.
Getting to know him, not only get to know him as a person, things that make him tick, which I kind of knew already from dealing with him. We always dealt with each other, but that's just not on a day-to-day basis, And it helped me see where I came from, who I am, And it's still like a lot of confidence in me, you know what I'm saying? Like if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be doing comedy. I guarantee you. I probably wouldn't even be here at all. I was at an open mic the other day, and I told him I was just there auditioning for work, and he has this ideal that I should make demands at this point in my career. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even at the point where I even have leverage to make any kind of demand whatsoever. He's like, no, bro, you just ain't got no heart, You gotta have heart, bro. You got heart. If you driving all the way, okay, from where you at to where they at, what's wrong with asking them to pay your gas? I'm like, everything is wrong with me. Try asking them to pay my gas. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. They're not gonna pay my gas. They'll probably advise me to stay where I'm at, You're like, yeah, well, maybe you can't do it, but I can do it. Dad can do it. And I'd be like, okay, Dad, well, hallelujah, man. Good for you. I would like to see you do that, Dad. I want to be there. When you make that call for the people to a booker that has no clue who you are, good luck. I want you to ask them for some gas money.
Hey, Roger, will you give him some gas money?
No.
The booker says no.
Exactly.
The booker says no and get out of the green room.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. It is pretty amazing that at the darkest time of your life, how it can motivate you to move forward without fear.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. My pleasure.
Right.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
dude.
No problem.
That's a great story, Felicia.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing story.
And it's weird that he never met his father. And then
No, he had met his
he
father,
met his
but
father
his father was not in his life
right.
when he was growing up. To get to know your father after something so terrible and to be so clear about...
But you know what the father did? He made it all right.
Yes, he did.
And that was the most important thing, because that, that's on your head too. As a father, you get busy, you get caught up. A lot of people don't know. When people say, well, he doesn't talk to his son no more. Really? He just stopped talking to the son, just like that. Those cases happen.
Right.
Or maybe he was getting his balls busted by his wife or something like that. He just got embarrassed, I'll come clean with him now. I haven't spoken to my daughter in like 7 years or 8 years. And the reason, she's 20, and the reason why I don't talk to my daughter is because she changed her name. And it really hurt me. It really got to me, you know, because it felt to me like my wife had won. My wife kept saying, she needs to change her name. I'm like, why? You know, when my dad died and my mom remarried, I kept my dad's name out of respect for him. You know, that's what people do. I never met my fucking father, you know. And it was that and a lot of other things, you know, that I don't talk to my daughter. And one part of me bothers me, and I can look you straight in the eye and tell you it really doesn't bother me a lot. Like 5% of it bothers me that I don't talk to her. But the reason why I did it was because I didn't want what I had, like Terry. I didn't want that luggage in her life when she was younger, you know. And my goal was to always come out here and make good and, you know, go back and, you know, make good with her. And I tried, like, in 2005 and 2006, and we lost contact. And then about a year ago, I went to a Santeria reading, and the guy doesn't know anything about me. And he goes, there's somebody who wants to talk to you, you know. And he said, you know, you should forgive, you know. And I thought it was my uncle because I tried to rob my uncle, and then he fucking... So I called my uncle, and we've had a relationship going for a year now, and it's great. So then again this year I did another Santeria reading in August, and he told me again that the saint wants you to make baby steps towards your daughter. A buddy of mine sent me a video while you were in Ann Arbor, and Steve Avila was a kid I grew up with. That was a great kid growing up. He lost his father, and his mother was real cool. In fact, when my mother died, he came to me at the church before we buried her. And he goes, I talked to my mom. She wants to know if you want to move in with us. Steve Avila was just a world-class kid. He had 2 other brothers, and they smoked pot. And, you know, they were the house where there was weights everywhere and everything. And he had this shed. And we would go back there that had no heat in New York. You know, we'd go back there in January, and we wouldn't, no heat or no nothing. We'd smoke 40 joints. We got a case of Budweiser nips. And we listened.
What are the nips?
Nips are 8 ounces.
Oh, okay.
You know, because they go down fast. You have to have a glove on and shit. And, yeah, because you got to drink with a glove on in New York in the wintertime outside. And me and this kid...
Shed etiquette.
Yeah, me and this kid were just passionate about music. I mean, we went to every concert, everything. We went to see James Brown, went to see the New Barbarians with the Stones without Mick Jagger in '78. We went to Philly to see Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio. He's just a music guy. And today he's in a band, I don't know what they're called. They do, you know, bars all over New Jersey. He's an engineer, so. But he had the video up on Facebook, and I always torture him about his video. I don't like the kinks, and he always puts the kinks on there. Like, oh Jesus, another boring video. Well, last week he put this video up, and I watched this video, and I was blown the fuck away. And I was blown away more often because of the talent. And this whole video is powered by heroin, booze, and cigarettes. Okay, that's all this is. And natural fucking talent. And it's Guns N' Roses, 1988, live at the Ritz, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
It is, when you see Axl Rose, you will see why they were, and that's what my buddy described them. He described them as Aerosmith on steroids. They had taken that Aerosmith persona to the next fucking level. They were out there. And I watched the video, and I cried, and I called Terry, and I made her watch it. And she was like, he was amazing, man. I mean, the first 2 or 3 hours, he was amazing.
That's the thing that's kind of sad about the Guns N' Roses, because I saw Axl, I think 2 years ago at Madison Square Garden, and quite frankly, it was
bad, horrid,
it was
horrid.
disappointing.
It was a different point.
And so when you first told me, yeah, you got to watch this, you know, Guns N' Roses thing, I was all like,
no,
oh,
no, this is pure. This is 88. This is 88.
But you forget, because of all the hijinks and stupidity, you know, the stories that you hear, you forget how fucking awesome they were.
Awesome.
So Joey shows me the video, and it is pretty fucking powerful.
And they sounded exactly like the album.
Oh, yeah.
It was to the T, and it's not an arena. The Ritz is a small, maybe 800 seats, 900 seat type place. But here's the interesting story about that, because in 98, when I moved here, Ahmed had a room. And one night I'm on stage and I get off, and some guy taps me and says, good set, and it was Slash.
Oh, Slash.
So
in
I
that
shook his
video,
hand.
by the way, they do a close-up on the guitar, and he's playing, and he has no shirt on, and it's like, really? Move the guitar, unzip those pants.
He's
right
a bad
fucking
motherfucker
now.
in that. And I shook his hand, and I never thought nothing of it. Man, I met Slash. But I had seen Axl Rose the first day I moved to Hollywood. In the morning, driving he used to have an orange, yellow, those speed cars like Maserati, and I seen him one morning by the park. It was Axl Rose. But anyway, so I met Slash at this bar. Never seen him again. Then that summer, I do the Dirty Show at the Riviera. And at the airport, I see him. I don't say nothing. I go upstairs, and, you know, in Vegas, they put oxygen in the room, so you can't sleep. And I had no weed. This is 98 or 99, and it's 98. And say, let me go down to the casino and gamble or have a soda.
Right.
And there's Slash by himself.
At the Riviera?
At the Riviera, at the bar.
Get the
He was
fuck
there
outta
for
here.
like a pinball convention or something.
Oh, yeah.
So I see him at the bar, and I went up to him and I go, hey, I'm in our bedroom, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I got to ask you something. What really happened to you guys? And he goes, you want a drink? And I buy you a drink. He bought me a drink, and he told me that, he goes, are you broke right now? And I go, yeah, real broke. As a comic, he goes, have you had any success? And I go, I just moved to L.A. He goes, grip this, because this is the best time you'll ever have in your life. He goes, once you start making money, it takes away from your art. And he goes, that's the only way I could describe Axl Rose. He goes, this guy one day seen the fruits of what he had done, and he couldn't handle it. He just fucking snapped. He couldn't believe that was him, because he felt in his heart he didn't do the work. He didn't deserve it. That's his big problem, Axl
Really?
Rose. He snapped.
Really?
He felt in his heart that he was cheating somebody. He moved to Arizona. He started reading rocks from the fucking sun. You didn't know that he had a guru.
Oh,
You know,
really?
this is what he spent his money on all
I
those
want
years.
a guru.
Yeah, he had a guru.
You can be my guru.
Yeah, I'll be your guru. And it's funny because he said that these are the times you'll enjoy, the hard times. These are the times you're going to remember the rest of your life. He goes, the money stuff and stuff, that comes and goes. But he goes, as an artist, the whole art is the challenge.
Joey Diaz, talk about your event. 10-10-10.
Oh, yeah, it's solidified. I talked to Sal, so we're on. It's 10-10-10. I'm doing a CD taping and a Beauty and the Beast little hangout that night.
Yes.
So we'll let you know more, but mark it on your calendars. October 10th, 10 o'clock. It's really going to be doors open at 9.
Right.
And we're going to get a list open because since they're not really officially open, it's going to be a special event.
A special event.
So it's going to be $10 to get in. I'm keeping it real cheap, so we all have a great time. I'm going to find a shelter this week, like a cat shelter, to give half the money to this cat shelter or something
Oh,
like
very
that.
nice, yeah.
So people know we're an animal shelter, like a no-kill shelter. So at least we're not doing this, and this isn't really for us. This is really a Beauty and the Beast party. I'm going to try to get an alcohol sponsor.
Oh,
Made a few calls,
very
and that's it. So I'd
nice.
really like for you people to come out. You know, if you're going to be in the LA area, email us.
Email us. We will get you on the list.
Beauty and the Beast
Yeah.
podcast at gmail.com.
Please email us. And you guys, if you've never seen Joey live, I just want to say you're inspiring. You're completely inspiring to see live. I've never seen Joey do the same set twice, and I've seen you quite a bit. And for me, like, you know, to try new material is terrifying. But you, every night, it's new stuff. Every fucking night.
Whatever's on my head, you know,
Yeah,
whatever's in my
yeah.
head. I want to try it, you know.
And Joey is an amazing comedian, and I really hope to see some of you guys out there because this is going to be for his CD taping. Have you thought about what you're going to call your CD?
Yeah, even if you get a restraining order, I'm still going to kill you. I'm still going to kill you, motherfucker.
That's awesome.
That's how we do it here at Beauty and the Beast. Another fun-filled episode. Felicia, say goodbye to these people.
Goodbye, people. Thanks for joining us. Once again, if you'd like to email us, you can email us at beautyandthebeast podcast@gmail.com.
I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. Stay black. Mwah.
Science.
Throw a kiss. There you go. That's a Felicia kiss for you.